I'm really excited about OpenCode, and I'm using it increasingly myself. It's, I would say, the most credible open source answer to Cloud Code right now. There are, of course, many different agents. They're all good. I don't think this needs to over-index on Claude or any other agent. We use GitHub Copilot quite a lot, which is also very good and is also open source, at least the Visual Studio Code version. But OpenCode, somehow, I think it is growing right now and it's worth paying attention to. And it's at opencode.ai. Again, it's open source, it's free, you can download it. It has many nice versions. And one of the things that distinct about it is that it is beautiful. So let me get it started so that you'll see. Definitely of all the different agents that are available in the terminal, I think no competition, and it gives code a run for its money. The other thing that is worth noticing is that you can really connect it to anything. It will support, for example, I'll show you the model it's available. So I have my GitHub Copilot subscription connected to it. That's official, by the way, officially supported. So I'm not doing anything against the terms of service or something like this. They've endorsed OpenCode, which is great. Since I have many different models, like the cloud models and some free models like GPT 4.1 and 5 mini, which together with my subscription and not paying for any requests. And those are nice models for simple things. And of course, GPT 5.2 Codex and then Gemini 3 models, which are good. I'm also using quite a lot now, actually, the GLM 4.7 model. It's an open model from Z.ai. I'm using it from OpenCode's own Zen provider, where they have an optimized version of this model running in the United States. But there are many other. You can connect it to anything you want. You can connect it to your OpenAI subscription and use Codex. You can connect it to OpenRouter and use one of many different models. You can connect it to all the AMIs. You have a massive machine and you're running the models locally. So lots and lots of different options, which is nice as an opportunity to, if you like, trying out different models. Other than that, it has all the features you've come to expect. This is OpenCode. These are the different models I have from GitHub Copilot and from OpenCode Zen. And I last asked what skills do you have available, just to see that it supports the same skills as code. And also that the GLM 4.3 model is really fast. It's nice. It's not quite as strong as, let's say, Cloud Outpost, but it's probably about as strong as Cloud Sonnet and really fast. So scary. You asked a little bit about workflows that I'm using. And so here's one. I say I'm in the Rush directory with nothing. And I'm going to work on a project here. I say here, Git, because, and I have a skill here, Git. And I want to initialize a Git repository and some basic agent instructions. Ask me, would you like me to add instructions for the agent to always commit? Yes, please. You can hear me well. So it creates an agent.md for me. Would you like to git ignore? Yes, we ignore or TypeScript. So here's, for example, a workflow that I do probably a few times every day just to start a repository. And it is encapsulated in a skill that just explains the workflow and the different options. And it could ask me about when I want to get ignored, and so on. So here's one such example. Let's try something. Let's try like an agentic task and see how it goes, and then I'll show you some other things. So what you thought was doing is, or maybe I'll use indeed the GPT 5.2 Codex model and extra high to do some planning. I'm starting a planning session with GPT 5.2 Codex extra high, or at my GitHub Copilot subscription in OpenCode. And I want to build like a simple agent. Let's do something like this. What I want to build a simple agent named AI SDK. And then let's the agent should fetch the top 3 items from icon views, summarize each, and create summary.md with the title, URL, and summary of each. So it's the 3 items. The agent should use Gemini 3 slash preview with the key and the argument variable Gemini API key, which I have in the environment. And start by researching and creating a plan and plan plan.md for me to review in when I get it. Let's see how it works. I'll send it. It will take a while, so we can look at some other things meanwhile.
Eleanor, is there a way to trigger plan mode in OpenCode? Like Cloud Code has a plan mode and Coursera has a plan mode. Is there a way to trigger that in OpenCode?
Yeah, you switch between plan mode and build mode.
Got it.
I never used plan mode. For some reason, I don't find it useful. I think I can just tell the agent, write a plan. But if you like this sort of workflow, yes, you have a plan agent.
Got it. So basically you describing it and saying just plan it out and put it in plan.md, that is superior in your mind compared to plan mode and open.
I don't know if it's superior. I just know that this is what I do. I think plan mode was interesting in the past because models were not behaved enough, good enough in following instructions to not make any changes and only plan. And so plan mode doesn't have the ability to write anything. There are your reads and plans. I don't think this is a problem anymore. And so I never bother because maybe I don't know, I just don't find that they need to. I just tell it, plan and write the plan to a markdown file or something like this. But both approaches are valid.
Got it. Thank you so much.
And as you can see, it picked up all sorts of skills I have, the AI SDK to help it understand how to write agents with AI SDK and Context 7 and Ability and whatnot, all the good stuff. So it's doing definitely serious, thorough work here. Anyway, let's allow it to run for a bit and look at some other stuff that might be interesting while we're at it. So one of the cool things about OpenCode is that it's also a web server. And so here you can see an OpenCode that I've installed for myself. It's my private cloud-based OpenCode instance that is it's nice. Actually, I got frustrated. There was one day when Claude had an outage. I was like, I don't have a backup, so I should make my own version. And so I just installed it in a Docker container in Railway. So I have here my own little web cloud-based agent, completely self-hosted. The model isn't self-hosted, but the agent itself is. So we could ask it, and you can see that the UI of this web version is also really nice. So maybe I'm meaning about Agentic ventures Sunday up and like let's see if the tools figure this out. So very elegant UI, if, at least in my opinion. It knows what to do into the website. Okay, it adds some information and wrote nice sentences for us. Looks accurate, has a link. Very cool. And this is an incredibly fast with the GLM 4.7 model really becoming my favorite, definitely among the open models. Let's see how our planning is going on here. Okay, it created a plan.md. Now we can read it briefly. Really simple dive now. Okay, this looks reasonable to me. And so I will go here and maybe I can even switch model to GLM. See if we can get it working fast. And let's go ahead and implement plan.md. Make sure to test the resulting scripts and debug and fix them. Here it is working. Okay, let's allow it to run. And again, all these things you probably have seen before in other agents, like a to-do list and the ability to run bash commands. Just looking really nice, I think. One last thing I wanted to show you is the OpenCode desktop app, which I think is wonderful. This is the desktop actually. Oh, there's a new version. They released, by the way, they're so definitely proactive. The OpenCode team, you release like a new version 2 or 3 times a day, which is probably why they're doing so well and making such fast progress. The desktop app, it can switch between different projects and different sessions, and now I think the normal setting windows, all the kind of stuff you like to have in a desktop app. It has a built-in terminal if you need like just a little bit of terminal quickly, and you can have also this window for code reviews. So if it produces new code or new code changes, you can review them in a very nice diff view. I like it. I think it's great. Definitely of all the different desktop apps for agents is the nicest one in my opinion. And like the rest of OpenCode, I have access to all these different models and to many more I could connect to. And I can then it will support things like, I don't know, sub-agents. So I can do something like start 3 sub-agents in parallel. And eventually then, the Lauren Epson scale to produce 3 paragraphs of placeholder text. Finally, show me all 3 results. And again, it looks very nice. It knows how to use skills. It knows how to use parallel background agents, which I'm doing a lot with this now to parallelize things. You can always expand what it does to see the individual to-do of each of them and look at the output of everything. anytime in the results. So really nice desktop app. There are many themes and colors. You can configure it endlessly to fit your taste. I really like it. Let's go and see. Okay, so it built something for us. But I will do one run agent and see if it did something useful. It did. It built an agent for us that is looking quite good. It's summarizing, and it wrote summary.md. Nice little example with use the terminal app. It looked so good and it worked with different models. So we used the GPT 5.2 codex with extra high thinking to do a nice plan. We then used the very fast, very cheap model GLM 4.7 to execute the plan and coded a simple agent from scratch. We saw that it's quite easy to deploy OpenCode as a web server, which I'm taking advantage of. You can also do locally. And we looked at the desktop app, which I think is wonderful. Really recommend taking a look at OpenCode. First of all, I think it's a great alternative to some of the commercial tools out there. I know that a lot of people are crazy about code, and it is indeed good. But OpenCode is a very good option too, and they have more or less feature parity. And the advantage that you have this great choice of different models. And also that you can use it in all these different forms. If you like a desktop app, you can use the desktop app. If you like working from the terminal, it also is really nice looking and very user friendly. So yeah, Kunal.
Thanks, Eleanor. This demo is awesome. Just curious, have you used OpenCode for like agentic coding or Ralph Wiggum or something like that, like kicking off multiple different workers for coding for you? Just curious.
Yeah, you can, if you have some setup like Vibe Kanban or something like this, you can also drive OpenCode and parallel agents. It works just as well as any of the other terminal-based agents for this.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And Roger, yes,
Hi there. Can you hear me?
yes.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for sharing that. I wasn't aware with OpenCode that you could have a server and web-based browser. That started making me think of this really interesting YouTube video about Brian Cherney's setup to create a code and how he uses code. And apparently he creates 3 different windows in the CLI and names them 1 to 5, and then has the Claude AI web browser and then can use background tasks to asynchronously have things running in parallel in the background. Can you do this in OpenCode? Can you have background tasks and use the server API to kind of keep track of the background tasks, if that makes sense? Is that possible?
Yeah. Yes, you can, but they don't have a web service like Cloud Code Web or Codex Cloud or the GitHub Copilot. So you'd have to orchestrate it yourself, which I'm not sure if it's worth the effort. So you could run a server, and I could, for example, connect to my server running currently just a single instance of OpenCode from the desktop app or from the terminal locally. But because they don't have sort of a cloud-based agent service, you would need to manage it yourself. So that seems a bit pointless. So maybe that's something where they still have a new product to build after they make more progress on the terminal and desktop version. What I can recommend if you're really interested in this is jumping into the Discord server of OpenCode, and you can chat with people and see where things are going. If there is something like this already on the roadmap, pretty sure you're not the first one in the community of millions of people now using it that may be interested in something like this. I hope this was sort of interesting and maybe got your interest going in OpenCode, I really think it's worth exploring. It's a beautiful project. It looks beautiful. It's a beautiful community. And I think it's on the rise. So it will be worth knowing it in the future, even if it's not yet your primary agent. It isn't mine. I use Visual Studio and I use Cloud Code quite a lot, but increasingly I'm anyway, so going to OpenCode.